Hey guys, Stephanie Mitchell here. I'm an online marketing coach for beauty business owners, and today we're chatting about something special, specifically how to create brand partnerships with brands in the beauty industry to create a new revenue stream in your business. So, whether that is hair care products or skincare products, whatever it is that you do in your business, I'm sure that there are some incredible brands that you maybe sell or that you are in love with. Now, imagine if you could partner with those brands and they actually sponsor or pay you to create content on Facebook, on Instagram, in your stories. And this content, it promotes what they do, it promotes what you do, and it's an incredible partnership that can create a very lucrative income stream in your business. Today, I have a special interview to share with you. Yene Damtew is going to be talking with us about how she has created a new income stream in her business through partnerships. So she is a hairstylist, salon owner, and she's actually Michelle Obama's hairstylist. So she's got some great celebrity clients, and today she's going to be sharing her secrets to identify which brands that you can work with, how to pitch them, how to structure deals, and how much you can actually get paid to create branded content. If you only have one or two income streams in your business, listen up, because brand partnerships can be an incredible way to grow your revenue, and they also boost your reputation as well, and you don't need to have a big Instagram following or a huge business to make it work. Let's get into my interview with Younae, where she spills all the beans. Well, hey Younae, thank you so much for being here with me today. I'm so happy to be chatting with you.
Hey, Stephanie, thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to sit down and talk with you as well.
Yeah, me too. It's so great to meet you virtually. And I know
I know.
we got in touch several months ago, and everyone that I chat with that's an educator and is in the beauty industry, I'm obviously following you on Instagram in awe of all the amazing
Oh,
content
thank
and help
you.
that you provide to the industry. So for anyone who doesn't know you, Yene, can you go ahead and introduce yourself and tell us more about you?
So I am an independent hairstylist based in Arlington, Virginia, originally from La Palma, California, a really small little city in the suburbs of Los Angeles.
Mm-hmm.
And I own a hair salon, a small boutique hair salon in Arlington, Virginia called Aesthetics. And I do online education with my online platform, The Academy, where I just really help industry professionals, hairstylists particularly, grow their business and understand the business side. So I'm taking what I've learned with my business degree and applying it to our industry to kind of help shape and grow the next generation of hairstylists. I have worked in a lot of different arenas and sectors within the industry. I'm most known for my work with our forever First Lady, Mrs. Michelle Obama. And I work with a number of different celebrities. I've worked in print, I've worked in fashion, I've worked in film. So I've kind of done it all, and I'm taking what I know and I'm kind of dumping it onto hairstylists to kind of show all the different arenas and all the different avenues that we could go into, and just opening up their ideas and their imaginations to understand that the opportunities are endless within the industry.
Yeah, I love it. I feel like you've got a really kind of exciting and a kind of different career path from what a lot of maybe hairstylists and people in the beauty industry have. You've
Yes,
not only worked with lots of celebrities, but you also kind of have different revenue streams and different ways of promoting yourself and growing your business. Maybe you can tell us a little bit about what are some of your revenue streams, or what you talk with your students about in terms of what are the different ways that you can make a living as a beauty professional?
absolutely. So I think it's so important that we have multiple revenue streams. And it's something that I stress in my program, or any hairstylist that I talk to, or any freelance artist for that fact. It's one of those things where we as creatives, we provide services. And so we're creative individuals. So we think, okay, when I provide a service, in exchange for it, I generate revenue. But we have to be creative and think outside of the box. If I'm not providing services, how do I generate revenue? And
Mm-hmm.
so for salon owners, it could be being an educator for a brand. It could be education. It could be your own private classes. It could be retailing of products. It could be hosting classes. There's a lot of different things, and there's brand partnerships.
Yeah.
And so that's one of the ways that I try to really encourage hairstylists to think outside the box. And for me, I've kind of hit all of those in between being a salon owner, being a freelance hairstylist, working in print, working on site, and then brand partnerships, as well as working in the salon and having the day-to-day contact.
Okay, so that is really, really helpful, Younae, to kind of know like how does this whole thing work and like what kind of benefits does it bring you. I know that you have a presentation for us. I would love, love, love to kind of get a deep dive into how to create brand partnerships, the benefits, etc. So can you go ahead and take it away? You can share your screen with us and we can see all the goodness that you have to share.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So I'm going to quickly share this deck that I've created on brand partnerships with you all and kind of the rules and things to think about when you think about brand partnerships. So, oops. Okay. So rules to brand partnerships. I think it's very important that this is the structure and the rules that you're going to go in when you think about partnering with a brand. So first you want to identify a brand. And then you're going to go into like the pitch phase where you're going to pitch yourself to the brand. And then finally, the last part, the third part, is securing the deal. And when I say identify a brand that you want to partner with, you have to understand that the brand that you're going to partner with, you have to think about the integrity behind it. You have to think about who you are and are you going to push a brand for the simple fact of trying to collect a check, or are you actually going to push a brand that you know through and through? One of the brands that I partnered with is Indeed Hair Boutique. And it was an easy sell and it was an easy partnership and an easy deal to secure because when I approached them, I knew about the brand through and through. It wasn't that I was just like, hey, I'm going to go for this brand that sells hair. It's a brand that I use. So when I approached them, I was very different than any other influencer because I knew about the brand. I could tell you about what types of hair textures that they could use. I could say when I use it on specific type of clients and the results and the features and the benefits and what I love about it. And everyone at the brand was surprised because they saw how authentic I was and they could tell, okay, she's not just selling something, she's passionate about it. And that's the difference. So that's what I mean by identifying a brand that you genuinely like. And then you go in and you pitch yourself. Once you've made the decision, okay, I like this brand, you're going to pitch yourself to that brand. And that's what I just talked about. Reaching out, finding the contact information to the brand and saying, hey, I use your brand. I would love to work with you. And this is why I'd love to work with you. And I'm going to explain that in detail a little bit further. And then after that, you just secure the deal. So after you know what you add and how you add value, you secure the deal by listing what you're looking for in exchange for promoting that brand. It could be free products. It could be a monetary exchange, whatever it is, you identify what that is next. So when I say partner with brands that you stand by, you have to begin thinking about brands that you want to work with and being authentic to yourself. Don't just partner with a brand because you want a check, because I'm going to be the first to tell you, consumers understand the difference when you're promoting a product just to promote a product versus you're promoting a product that you come in and you know. And I've had it happen and I've seen it happen where someone comes in and it's just like, oh, you say that you use this product, but they come into your establishment and the product's nowhere to be found, or it's in the back. So it's like they came to you because you are an advocate of whatever product this is, but when they come in, you're not using that. So then it leaves your consumer to question how honest and truthful you are. And you have to remember that if you start to put doubt in your consumer's head, they're never going to believe what you have to say. So when you are deciding how to identify a brand that you like, here are some questions the guidelines that I say you should ask yourself. So what does the brand represent? Do they align with your beliefs, like your business beliefs, who you stand for? So for example, me, I'm a chemical-free salon aside from color. So I would never partner with a chemical straightening hairline because I don't provide that service in my salon. So why would I then promote it? If I don't use your products, I'm not going to say I'm going to go partner with this brand because I know that they're looking for partnerships. Can you speak to the pros and cons of the brand? You know, I work with a brand that Diva Curl, and in more recent months, Diva Curl has been under a lot of scrutiny, and people are like, I'm not using this product because it does this, this, and this. I know about the product, I know about the ingredients, and as a professional, I know what the product can and can't do, what harm it can and can't cause. So if a consumer comes in and says, I'm not using this because I read a blog and it's doing this to my hair, as a professional, I could calmly, you know, respond to the consumer and say, okay, I hear everything that you're saying, but I just want to explain to you from my professional standpoint, this is what these ingredients can and can't do to your hair, and kind of calm them off the ledge. If a client still decides that they don't want to use that product, that's their prerogative. But at least I could give them an educated background on how to use the product and what the product does and doesn't do. Another thing that I like to think about is, where is the synergy among your brand and theirs? So what about your brand is true to what is true about the other brand? For example, Diva Curl, a brand that I work with, I'll use them again. They are about embracing curly natural hair. And so I am a chemical-free salon and I'm a natural hair advocate. So our brands align because it's something that I believe in. I try to educate my clients wearing their hair in its natural state. So that's very important. So that's where the synergy is among my brand and there. And where is the alignment between how they want to be represented and how can I help them reach that goal? So if a brand wants to say that they are the number one product in a specific sector, they are the number one natural hair care line, and I am an advocate for natural hair and I'm an expert, so how can I help them reach? If I educate consumers about how this product helps you reach that goal, then I am not only providing my clients with something by educating them, I'm also helping the brand spread their word. So these are the questions that you should ask yourself when you think about working with a brand. You know, when you think about brand partnerships, you have to think about brand positioning, brand personality, and their target market. So how does this brand position themselves in this specific arena? Are they a consumer product or are they a professional product? And understanding the difference, you have to know the audience that you have as a following. So if you're speaking to consumers, the vocabulary that you're going to use is very different than if you're speaking to a professional, right? So understanding the difference of who your audience is and the brand. Are they a professional-based brand or are they a consumer-based brand, or are they speaking to both? And where can you fit into working with this brand? What's their brand personality? What type of emotions does this brand evoke to consumers, right? So you think about when you look at different commercials, there is marketing strategies that are implemented into commercials that invoke a feeling within the consumer. So are you fulfilling a need? Is it making you feel good about yourself? Is it promising you results? Understanding the personality of the brand is very important. And then finally, understanding who your target market is. So what's the brand's key demographic? Sex, age, race, texture, location. Is it a brand that is globally recognized, or is it just a local brand in a specific part of the country? Understanding their target market, understanding if they're targeting women, if they're targeting men, if they're targeting teenagers, if they're targeting adults, you have to understand the difference. So when you think of, for example, a brand like let's say Tampax, for example. Tampax is specific. As women, we know that it's a specific market that we're targeting, and it's between this age and this age. You're not catering to the elderly community. So do you fall into, are you their consumer? If you're their consumer, then you fit into that target market. Consumers are going to be like, oh, she looks like me, in the sense that we are the same type of buyer. So it's easy. If this works for her, then it will work for me. So that's something that I like to think, tell people to be mindful of when you think of partnerships. So then you are in the phase where you're going to pitch yourself. So you are answering the brand's why. Where is there a need that you can fill for them? How do you add value? If you're using their products, you could add value because you know it through and through. So for example, when I pitched myself to Diva Curl, I literally found a contact and sent them a message and was like, hey, I use your products. I took your training. I know that there isn't a rep in the local DMV area, and I would love to work with your brand. And I also noticed that on your social media, you guys really don't, educate the professional side or show tutorials to the super curling market. So I was very specific on like what I could help them with, a market that they weren't catering to, and was like, I would like to work with you because I feel like I could help you reach this demographics. That's my clientele. I have influence already. I know your products, and here's what I could produce. So what's your brand mission and how does it relate to the brand's bigger picture, right? So like, that's what I did. I expressed to them, you guys have a product for this specific market and you guys aren't producing content on your social media based off of what I saw. I create content, and I create content in that specific market. So I would love to do a collaboration because I know that I could create the content that you currently don't have. So I'm fulfilling that void of what the brand doesn't have, because they have other content, but they don't have content for that. That's the pitch. So it's a no-brainer for the brand to be like, oh, you're right, we don't have this. So that's what the pitching phase looks like. So what I like to do is I call it the Pixie pitch formula. And when you pitch to brands, we must have a number already in our head with what we want in return, if it's a monetary number. So the Pixie pitch formula is that products insight times the influencer's experience equals the price that we will receive in exchange for doing it for our partnership. And with product insight, that's why I say work with the brand that you already are an advocate for. Work with a brand, pitch yourself to a brand that you already know. And then your experience, your influencer's experience with educating people already adds value and holds weight for you to be like, okay, I already talked to this market. I already know what I'm saying. So there is no doubt in your mind, in the brand's mind, of whether or not you align with them. So that's the kind of the structure that I like to work with. And the easiest way you do this is what we call an EPK, or an electronic press kit, which essentially is a digital overview of your brand, the services that you offer, and who you are. You have to tell a story. Like right now, the biggest thing that's important and what is working is people want to feel like they could connect with you. It's about connecting. That's what partnerships are all about. People are using influencers because they want to be able to connect. So I'm going to take you through this is the press kit that I use, what it looks like. It's short, it's sweet, and it's simple. So the first page is my bio. It just talks about who I am. It says, meet me. It's friendly. It has my photo. It kind of talks about myself. And then the next page is my brand insight. So who am I? What is my brand? Talk about the salon. I show them where it's located and what it looks like. And so images are great because it helps them connect. It's a visual that it's like, oh, it's posh. We're a posh brand, right? So you wouldn't go, I always tell people, you can't go to BMW with a Honda budget, right? You're not going to walk out with that BMW. So if my brand looks like your luxury brand, they're more inclined to work with you because they know that the clientele that is coming to your establishment is their targeted market. So this is the subliminal things that you put into your press kit that helps connect with the brand. And then you talk about your portfolio. So this is my portfolio page. It shows images of my work. It shows my press mentions, and these are clickable links where you could easily go to these articles and read about me and see where I've been highlighted. Again, that's that influencer's experience. And if you don't have any press mentions, that's fine. Just talk about what you've done in the community, any outside things that you participate in, any organizations that you're a part of, and you could put the links there. Then you're going to pitch yourself. So this is the work with Younae page. I'm going to tell you how you could work with me. I could talk about, doing a class. I could talk about educational events. I could talk about um, uh, in-store events, whatever ways that they could work with you, you're going to list it here. You're going to say, here's how you could work with me. Here are the things that you could do, that I could do for you, and how you could partner with me so we could reach the goal of the brand. And then finally, I like to add a personal statement. So, my personal statement, something that I'm an advocate about, is continuing education. So I added a personal statement. I believe in education and creating a community within the world of hairstylists. We must continue to grow, learn, and lay the foundation for those that come after us. That's so important. Like, that is where you reel them in. That's the hook. And the personal statement, it should, again, if you are working with a brand that aligns with who you are, then that personal statement should align with that brand's mission as well. If a brand is big on continuing education, then that's why they're looking for influencers to educate people as well. So my mission, my personal statement aligns with the brands that I pitch because their education platform is huge already. And then you give your social media stats. And when I started working with brands, I had less than 10,000 followers, and people get fixated, are like, oh, you have to be verified. Oh, you have to have all these followers to work with the brand. Let me tell you, that doesn't matter. What mattered was that my engagement rate was so high. So even though I didn't have a lot of followers, my engagement rate was high. My likes wasn't that high, but this is my engagement rate. You could see, or my impressions was 65,000, and so influencers are like, whoa, that's a lot. That's a large amount. And so that's what makes brands more inclined to work with you, because people throw up content all day long. There are people that have hundreds of thousands of followers, but their engagement rate is very low, and that's what converts. And then finally, you talk about different topics if you want to do speaking engagements, and then you give your contact information on how you could move forward with them. How can they get in contact with you? What's your website? What's your phone number? What's your email? And everything there. So after you do that, you secure the deal. You lay out the terms that you want, how long the agreement is going to be, if it's exclusive or a non-exclusive deal, what you are expected to do, who has rights to your content after it posts. That's huge, y'all. You have to make sure that you understand who owns that. How long will the brand have rights to the content if it doesn't live forever? And what are your exact deliverables, and what happens if either party is in breach of the term? So that's where you have to understand what the deal looks like. And then that's pretty much it. So, overall, just to recap everything, you have to find meaningful partnerships. That's number one. We talked about identifying brands that are authentic to you, and knowing that you work with a brand because you believe in them rather than just chasing a check. We talked about the PPF, or the Pixie pitch formula. So product insight versus your influence experience. That's the Pixie pitch formula. And then EPKs, and that is your virtual bio, your staff, and it kind of is the introduction to the brand of who you are. So that's the deal on how you do a partnership.
I love that. Thank you so much for sharing that, Younae. You gave so many good tips. I feel like that is probably one of the things that so many people dream about doing, is doing like a brand partnership. And we probably all have those like companies and brands in the back of our heads that they're like, oh my God, that would be amazing. But we really just don't know where to start, of like, oh my gosh, like, would they even take me seriously? Like, how do I figure out like what I need to do for it? So I feel like you've laid it out really clearly. What are the steps that you have to take? Sorry, go ahead.
I just will say this, I don't want you to get discouraged. True story. When I first reached out to Diva Curl, they didn't want to work with me, but I was just like, that's fine. It's okay. The time will come. And then I tried again, and then they wanted to work with me. So, I say that all to say that you can't get discouraged, or you can't hold a grudge if a brand doesn't want to work with you. They have their reasons, So Just believe in yourself.
Yeah, exactly. And just because it doesn't work out now doesn't mean it won't work out in the future. So definitely like nurture that relationship and then it might come
Yeah.
back around.
Yeah.
Okay, so I had two follow-up questions for you, just like that came
Okay.
to my mind after watching that. Number one, you mentioned a few different types of partnerships in there. So you talked about speaking engagements. You talked about, it looks like social media content. So can you tell us like what the different types of partnerships actually look like that agreement that you have at the end of like, okay, this is how you're going to promote us. What are the different ways of doing a brand partnership, like the actual like practical things that come out of it?
So, like we talked about, right now we live in an era of social media. So, the easiest way and the way that people like to do partnerships is like, let me create content on social media. I'm going to post it on my Instagram, and you're going to post it on the brand's Instagram.
Got it.
Get engagement, and then it's going to go that way. So that's one area of brand partnerships. Another area I tell people to pitch themselves in, especially if you don't have a very strong social media following, or if you're, if you doubt if your social media is strong enough for a brand to align with you, is to do in-store events. You have to understand that when products come out, there's always, if you ever go into Ulta, sometimes you see a brand rep or an educator come in and they're doing like a demo where they're showing, oh, hey, do you want to test this product? Here's a sample. That's something. So as I said, when I pitched myself to Devo, what I said to them was, I noticed that you guys don't have a rep anywhere between this radius to this radius. And if anyone is familiar with the Northern Virginia area, it was from Virginia Beach all the way to Pennsylvania. There wasn't a rep that could do education. So I was like, this is a huge missed market.
Mm-hmm.
And you guys have a lot of stylists, certified stylists in this area. So I would love to figure out a way of how I could work with your brand to be that person. So that's what it would be like. So what would happen is I would be considered what they call a curl coach, and I could host Diva sponsored events or educational events in my salon.
Cool.
So you can't have people who are interested in working with the brand or taking their training come into my salon, and I teach them and the brand pays me, because all brands are looking to cut costs. So they don't want to have to fly someone in from New York or from LA or from, Chicago or from wherever they have to, or have someone drive in if I could be their local rep.
Yeah.
So you become their local field person. So that's what speaking engagements is, or doing a trade show. And you go to a trade show. Trade shows travel. So if there was supposed to be a trade show in Washington D.C. in more recent months. And so, hey, they're participating in this event. I'm a local. Let me be the educator. I've gone through your training. I know your products through and through. I could then save you some money, and you could pay me my day rate versus paying someone their day rate and travel and hotel accommodation.
Yeah, that's awesome. So I love how you were so creative of like figuring out, okay, I want to work with this company. Now let me find like that gap that they're missing of like, okay, I could fill that gap and be that educator for them. That's amazing. So, and then my second question was about compensation. Like, how much can people actually expect to make from being a brand ambassador or educator or influencer?
It all depends. I think it all depends. And I think that, when you start, it depends on what I always like to tell people is you have to take into your expenses, your overhead. So for example, if you're creating content and you have to pay someone to record, you have to pay someone to edit, you have to pay a model to come in, whatever you're going to do, you have to take into account those expenses and then say, okay, after that, and the time. If I was just providing a service, how much would I be making hourly? You take all of that, and then that's what you create. That becomes your package. So for example, for Instagram posts, if you are recording it on your own and it takes you an hour to do, and the service is, say you're doing a color demo or applying a product and how to properly use it, you could get a model for free. You could do a model call. Anyone will take a free hair service. You could find someone to come in. You have them come in, and it's an hour of your time. But if you were to provide a service in your salon and get paid, you would be making that service would cost you $65.
Mm-hmm.
So you should times that at least by 2 in exchange for the post.
Okay.
That's the bare minimum.
Yeah.
But I know people who have, on average, people and video content, again, that's where you understand, okay, how long is this content going to live?
Mm-hmm.
Because if it's going to be an Instagram story, something that disappears, or is this going to be posted on their page, or is this going to be posted on my page? Those are where things, when I determine, okay, I should go up a little bit, $25. $50 here and there, and you kind of just play with it. And then that's where the negotiation happens. Sometimes come out straight up and they're like, this is our budget, can you work with it? And then you make the decision, because maybe working with it now, it will lead to something bigger. And
exactly.
you have to remember, when you're getting into this, you don't want to outbid yourself or outprice yourself. You want to create long lasting relationships, because $200 over the course of 2 years is better than a one-time fee of $400. You want to be affordable and produce quality work. The first time that I pitched myself to Indeed, I did a one-time like trial run. I gave them the price. I under promised and over delivered. So then when they decided to come back, they're like, we loved what you produced. We want to continue to work with you. Where I broke even my expenses to produce the content versus what they were paying me. Yeah. But when they came back, I was just like, okay, well, that's when the ball's in your court. And I'm like, I want a retainer. I want to produce content this often. And this is how much I will take for it. Yeah. Because I knew what time it took me to produce it. But the first time, like I pitched myself, so I really didn't know how to do it. So it was just trial and error. So, that's one of the things that I like to share with people is just like, do it for maybe you lowball yourself in the beginning, but just know that if you under promise and over deliver, they see the quality of work, they'll pay you more the second time.
Yeah. That is such a good way of looking at it. It's like, we're not just looking at one Instagram post. We're not just looking at one event. We're looking at creating a long-term relationship. So definitely that idea of under promising and over delivering is amazing, as well as like that advice that you gave about pricing. It's about creating long-term relationships. And I absolutely love it. So, Younae, I feel like you've given so much practical advice. This is part of what you teach in your program, the Academy, right?
Yes.
So if someone wants to learn more about you or the Academy, where can they find out about it?
If you want to learn more about me, you could visit my personal website, www.yenedamtew.com. That's YENEDAMTEW.com. You can follow me on Instagram, same thing, at Yene Damtew. I share a lot of free tips there with my followers.
I love your Instagram.
And if you want to learn about the program, it's a very intimate program, so enrollment isn't always opened. You could follow or visit the website, www.academybyenedamtew.com. It tells you everything about the program, all the modules, what you'll learn. It's interactive, all of the good stuff, all that you need to know you could find there. And you could subscribe to my online community of hairstylists, because I also share free tips there exclusive to the community. And then anything that I'm launching, you get first dibs on it, and you also get discounted prices. So,
awesome. Okay. So check out Younae. And you said that you also have a online community, so people can find out about that on your website.
Yeah, just join. It's literally, you just join a newsletter, and I send out monthly emails at least once a month, business tips, interesting articles. I do all types of things. I have a lot of resources. I'm always looking up ways to grow my business. And anytime I find something, I love to share it with my community exclusively first. And my main goal is to change the way that we work with one another as hairstylists and being a community. Mm-hmm. We better when we work together. And it's about collaboration over competition. Yes. So I share everything that I know, because I know that I can't service everyone and I can't be everywhere. So it's about creating a community where if someone is looking for someone in your area, you are at the top of my list.
Amazing. I love it. Thank you, Younae, again so much. And I can't wait to hear more from you all on your email newsletter, in your membership, and on Instagram as well. So thanks again so much for being here.
Thanks for having me.
Okay. Talk to you soon. Bye.
Take care. Bye.